Devam'dan Act 3 Scene 21 St. Oswald's Home for Old Witches and Wizards, Delphi's room. Harry, Hermione, Ron, Draco, and Ginny look around a simple oak-paneled room. Harry took it must have been a confounded charm she used on him. Used on them all. She faked being a nurse. She faked being his niece. Hermione, I've just checked in with the ministry, but there is no record of her. She's a shadow. Draco, specialist rebellion. Everyone turns to look at Draco. Well, it was worth a try. What are you waiting for? We know nothing, so we just have to hope this room reveals something. Chin diyor ki, where can she have hidden anything? It's quite a Spartan room. Ron diyor ki, these panels must conceal something. Jacob diyor ki, or the bed does. Jacob starts examining the bed. Ginny and lamp, as the rest start examining the wooden wall panels. Ron shooting as he hammers on the walls. What you hiding? What you got falan. Hermione diyor ki, maybe we should all stop for a moment and have a think about what derken Ginny unscrews a chimney from an oil lamp. There's a breathing out noise, and then hissing words. They all turn towards it. They all turn towards it. What was that? Yapıyor Hermione. Harry diyor ki, I'm not supposed to be understanding. That's parcel tongue. Hermione diyor ki, and what does it say? Harry diyor ki, how do I haven't been able to understand the parcel tongue since Voldemort died. Hermione diyor ki, and nor has your scar hurt. Harry looks at Hermione. Harry diyor ki, it says, welcome, Augury. I think I need to tell it to open. Draco diyor ki, then do it. Harry shuts his eyes. He speaks in parcel tongue. The room transforms around them, becoming darker and more desperate. Everything mess of painted snakes emerge on all the walls. And on them, written in fluorescent paint, a prophecy. What is this? From the when spares are spared, when time is turned, when unseen children murder their fathers, then will the Dark Lord return. Cin diyor ki, a prophecy, any prophecy. Hermione diyor ki, Cedric was called a spare. Ron diyor ki, when time is turned. She has a time turner, doesn't she? Their faces sink. Hermione diyor ki, she must do. Ron diyor ki, but why does she need Scorpius or Albus? Harry diyor ki, because I am a parent who hasn't seen his child, hasn't understood his child. Draco diyor ki, who is she? To be so obsessed with all this. Cin I think I've got the answer to that. They all turn to her. She points up. Their collective faces sink further and fill with fear. Words are revealed on all the walls of the auditorium. Dangerous words, horrible words. I will rebirth the dark. I will bring my father back. Ron diyor ki, no, she can't. Hermione diyor ki, how is it even possible? Olmaya mümkün değil zaten de şimdi kitap gereği kitabı yazmışlar falan, sırf okuduğum için bir şey yokmuş gibi davranacağım. Kesinlikle mümkün değil yani. Draco diyor ki, Voldemort had a daughter. They look up, terrified. Ginny takes Harry's hand. Harry diyor ki, no, not that. Anything but that. Cut to black. Cut to black tabii. Act 4. Act 4, Scene 1. Son act'deyiz. Bugün bitiririz zaten umarım falan. Very good. Devam. Ministry of Magic, Grand Meeting Room. Wizards and witches from all over cram into the Grand Meeting Room. Hermione walks onto a hastily made stage. She raises her hand for silence. Silence falls. She's surprised at the lack of effort it took. She looks around herself. Hermione diyor ki, thank you. I'm so pleased so many of you were able to make my second extraordinary general meeting. I got some things to say. I ask that we deal with questions, and there will be a lot of questions after I speak. As many of you know, a body has been found at Hogwarts. His name was Craig Walker. He was a good boy. We have no firm information who was responsible for the act, but yesterday we searched St. Oswald's. A room that revealed two things. One, a prophecy that promised the return of darkness. Two, written on the ceiling, a proclamation that the Dark Lord that Voldemort had a child. The news reverberates around the room. We don't know the full details. We're only just investigating, questioning those with a Death Eater connection. And as yet, no record has been found either of the child or of the prophecy. But it does look like there is some truth to it. This child was kept hidden from the wizarding world. And now she is, Profesör McGonagall diyor ki she, a daughter, he a daughter falan, son. Tabii herkes son bekliyor. Hermione diyor ki yes, a daughter. Profesör McGonagall diyor ki and is she now in custody? Harry diyor ki professor, she did ask for no questions. Hermione diyor ki it's fine Harry. No, professor, that's where this gets worse. I'm afraid we've no means of taking her into custody or indeed stopping her doing anything. She's out of our reach. Professor McGonagall diyor ki we can't look for her. Hermione diyor ki we have good reason to believe she is hidden herself in time. Professor McGonagall diyor ki of all the reckless stupid things you kept a time turner even now. Hermione diyor ki Professor, I assure you. Professor McGonagall diyor ki shame on you Hermione Granger. Hermione flinches in the face of the anger. Harry diyor ki no, she doesn't deserve that. You have a right to be angry. You all do. But this is not all Hermione's fault. We don't know how the witch got hold of the time turner. Whether my son gave it to her. Jin diyor ki whether our son gave it her. Or whether it was stolen from him. Ginny joins Harry on the stage. Professor McGonagall diyor ki your solidarity is admirable. But it doesn't make your negligence negligible falan. Haklı diyoruz. Ben burada bir hemen geliyorum. Devam. Jacob diyor ki then it's a negligence I too should face. Jacob walks up to the stage and stands beside Ginny. This is almost a Spartacus moment. There are gasps. Hermione and Harry have done nothing wrong but try and protect us all. If they are guilty, then I am too. Bu kitabın zaten en güzel noktalarından biri de Draco Malfoy ile Harry Potter'ın ve ekibin işte Hermione, Ron, Ginny, Gertrude herkesin bir tarafa geçip ortak düşman için beraber hareket etmeleri ve gün sonunda Draco ile Harry'nin birbirine sevmeye, saymaya başladıkları gibi atmosferin oluşması falan. Hani bunu güzel işliyor kitap. Draco böyle bayağı bir sinirlendi işte Hermione'ye. Yine benim oğlum hakkında kötü kötü söylentileri yaymaktan başka bir bok yapmıyorsunuz. Hani çıktı gitti onun peşinden bir sürü insan çıktı falan. Hani böyle düpedüz Hermione'nin sihir bakanlığı olması fektini tehdit ediyordu. Harry böyle yine Harry ile uğraşıp duruyordu falan. Hani böyle ciddi zararlar da verebiliyordu bu ekibe. Ama düpedüz kendi çocukları çok yakın arkadaş olunca falan bu Draco'da Harry'de bunlar da böyle birbirlerini görmek, birbirlerini takmak zorunda kaldılar falan. Hani buralar hep güzel işlendi bence. Güzel işleniyor yani. Of course bu kitabın ilk 7 kitaptaki teori üretim merkezine katamadığımız fakti ön kabulüyle bu güzel olduğunu falan ifade ediyor ama yoksa kesinlikle affedemeyeceğimiz kadar kötü. İlk 7 kitabın teorilerini bu kitaptaki olayları ekleyemediğimiz için falan kitap düpedüz bu kitap diğer 7 kitaptan kopuk, okuması eğlenceli ama yani benim gibi bizim gibi böyle uzun zamandır Harry Potter göremediği için acıkmış olan insanların açlığını işte bu örneği verdim zaten atıştırıyor sadece atıştırıyor yatıştırıyor hani doyurmuyor falan öyle ama buraları güzel hani Draco'nun Harry ile aynı tarafta olması Draco ile Harry'nin iyi anlaşmaya başlaması ikisinin uşaklarının çok yakın arkadaş olduğu için bunların Draco'nun Harry ile konuşmak zorunda kalması falan bunlar hep güzel noktalar. Devam. Hermione and Harry have done nothing wrong but try and protect us all. If they're guilty, then I am too. Hermione looks across at her cohort, moved. Ron joins them on the stage. Ron diyor ki just to say, I didn't know about much of it, so can't take responsibility. I'm pretty sure my kids had nothing to do with it. But if this lot are standing up here, then so am I. Bu da Ron değil. Fuck off. Çakma Ron yapıyoruz. Ginny diyor ki no one can know where they are. Whether they're together or apart. I trust that our sons will be doing all they can to stop her, but Hermione diyor ki we haven't given up. We've gone to the giants, the trolls, everyone we can find. The orders are out flying, searching, talking to those who know secrets, following those who won't reveal secrets. Harry diyor ki, but there is one truth we can't escape. That somewhere in our past, a witch is trying to rewrite everything we ever knew. And all we can do is wait. Wait for the moment she either succeeds or fails. Professor McGonagall diyor ki, and if she succeeds, Harry diyor ki, then just like that, most of the people in this room will be gone, will no longer exist, and Voldemort will rule again. Act 4, Scene 2, Scottish Highlands, AVMR train station, 1981. Albus and Scorpius are looking at the station master apprehensively. Albus diyor ki, one of us should talk to him, don't you think? Scorpius diyor ki, hello, Mr. Station Master. Mr. Muggle questioned, did you see a flying witch passing here? And by the way, what year is it? We just ran away from Hogwarts because we were frightened of upsetting things, but this is okay. I was like, you know what annoys me most of all? That will think we did it deliberately. Scorpius like, Albus, really? I mean, really, we're trapped, lost in time, probably permanently, and you're worrying what your dad might think about it. I will never understand the two of you. I was like, there is a lot to understand. That's pretty complicated. Scorpius like, and you're not to question your taste in woman, but you fancy it. Well, they both know who he is talking about. I was like, I did, didn't I? I mean, what she did to Craig. Scorpius, let's not think about that. Let's focus on the fact that we have no wands, no brooms, no means of returning to our time. All we have is our wits, and no, that's all, our wits. And we have to stop her. Station master in very strong Scots diyor ki, you can the old Ricky train is running late, boys. Scorpius'daki soruyu anlamıyor falan. Station master diyor ki, if you're waiting on the old Ricky train, you'll need to can it's running late. Train works on the line. Is on the amended time bird. He looks at them. They look back bewildered. He frowns and hands them an amended timetable. He points to the right bit of it. Late. Albus takes it and examines it. His face changes as he takes in enormous information. Scorpius just stares at the station master. Albus says, I know where she is. Scorpius says, you understood that? Albus says, you look at the date on the timetable. Scorpius leans in and reads. Scorpius says, the 30th October, 1981. Day before Hallows Eve, 39 years ago. But who is she? Oh, Scorpius's face falls as he realizes. Albus diyor, the death of my grandparents. The attack on my dad as a baby. The moment when Voldemort's curse rebounded on himself. She's not trying to bring about her prophecy. She's trying to prevent the big one. Scorpius diyor, the big one. Albus diyor, the one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches. Scorpius joins in. Scorpius and Albus beraber diyorlar ki, born to those who have tries to fight him, born as the 7th month dies. Scorpius's face falls with every word. Scorpius, it's my fault. I told her that prophecies can be broken. I told her the whole logic of prophecies is questionable. Albus, in 24 hours' time, Voldemort curses himself, trying to kill the baby Harry Potter. Daffy is trying to prevent that curse. She's going to kill Harry herself. We need to get to Godric's Hollow now. Act 4, Scene 3, Godric's Hollow, 1981. Albus and Scorpius walk through the center of Godric's Hollow, and it's a bustling, beautiful little village. Scorpius diyor ki, well, there is no visible signs of attack that I can see. Albus diyor ki, this is Godric's Hollow. Scorpius diyor ki, your dad's never taken you. Albus diyor ki, no, he tried to a few times, but I refused. Scorpius diyor ki, well, there is no time for a tour. We have a murderous witch to save the world from, but regard the church, said Jerome's, said that, as he indicates a church becomes visible. Obviously, it's magnificent. Scorpius again said Jerome's graveyard is supposedly magnificently haunted. He points in another direction, and that's where the statue of Harry and his parents will be. Obviously, might it as a statue? Scorpius, oh, not yet, but he will, hopefully. And this house is where Bathilda Bagshot lived, lives, ha. Yaşadı diyor, sonra zamanda geri gittiklerini anlayıp lives diye kendini düzeltiyor falan. Gerçek İngilizce şurası, şu düzeltme olayı. Albus diyor ki da Bathilda Bagshot, A History of Magic Bathilda Bagshot. Scorpius diyor ki da very same. Oh my, that's her. Wow, squeak. My geekness is a quivering. Albus Scorpius again, here it is. Albus the home of James, Lily, and Harry Potter. A young, attractive couple live a house with a baby in a posh chair. Albus moves towards them. Scorpius pulls back. Scorpius, they can't see you, Albus. It might damage time. And we're not doing that, not this time. Albus, but this means she hasn't. We made it, she hasn't. Scorpius, so what do we do now? Get ready to fight her, but she's pretty fierce. Albus, yes, we haven't really thought this one through, have we? What do we do now? How do we protect my dad? Act 4, Scene 4, Ministry of Magic, Harry's office. Harry is hurriedly going through paperwork. Dumbledore, good evening, Harry. A beat. Harry looks up at the portrait of Dumbledore, his face passive. Harry, Professor Dumbledore, in my office, I'm honored. I must be where the action is tonight. Dumbledore, what are you doing? Dumbledore diyor ki, what are you doing? Harry diyor ki, going through papers. Think if I've missed anything I should have. Marshalling forces to fight in the limited way we can fight. Knowing that the battle is being raged far away from us. What else can I do? Pause. Dumbledore says nothing. Where have you been, Dumbledore? Dumbledore diyor ki, I'm here now. Are you here just as the battle is lost? Or are you denying that Voldemort is going to return? Dumbledore diyor ki, it is possible. Diyor ki, go, leave. I don't want you here. I don't need you. You were absent every time it really counted. I fought him 3 times without you. I'll face him again, if needs be, alone. Dumbledore diyor ki, Harry, don't you think I wanted to fight him on your behalf? I would have spared you if I could. Harry diyor ki, love blinds us. Do you even know what that means? Do you even know how bad that advice was? My son is fighting battles for us just as I had to for you. And I have proved as bad a father to him as you were to me, leaving him in places he felt unloved. Growing in him resentments he'll take years to understand. Dumbledore, if you're referring to private drive, then growing in him resentments he'll take years to understand. Dumbledore, if you're referring to private drive, then years. Years I spent there alone without knowing what I was or why I was there, without knowing that anybody cared. Harry sinirli falan. Ama tam acaba bizim o Harry'nin hödüklüğünü yansıtıyor mu şu an? Tam buradaki Harry'i de beğeniyorum sanırım. Şu anki konuşan, şu an kızan Dumbledore'a falan. yaşı bir şekilde o kadar ilerledikten sonra iyice bazı düşünceleri, hisleri yerleşmiş biri olarak böyle hödüklük parıltıları olan ama genel olarak olgun laflar ediyor falan. Bu Harry olurdu diyorum sanırım. Bu diyeceğim buydu. Bir de şuraya bir hemen bakıp geliyorum kendim. Devam. Dumbledore'daki I did not wish to become attached to you. Harry protecting yourself even then falan böyle. Ama biraz Dumbledore anlamamış mıydın Harry sana son konuşmada özellikle şeydeki King's Cross'taki falan. Neyse şu an hiç düşünesim yok. Dumbledore no, I was protecting you. I did not want to hurt you. Dumbledore attempts to reach out of the portrait, but he can't. But he can't. He begins to cry but tries to hide it. But I had to meet you in the end, 11 years old, and you were so brave. So good. You walked uncomplainingly along the path that had been laid at your feet. Of course, I loved you, and I knew that it would happen all over again. That where I loved, I would cause irreparable damage. I'm not a fit person to love. I have never loved without causing harm. A beat. You would have hurt me less if you had told me this then. Dumbledore, openly weeping now, the guy was blind. That is what love does. I couldn't see that you needed to hear that this closed up, tricky, dangerous old man loved you. A pause. The two men are overcome with emotion. It isn't true that I never complained. Dumbledore'daki Harry, there is never a perfect answer in this messy, emotional world. Perfection is beyond the reach of humankind, beyond the reach of magic. In every shining moment of happiness is that drop of poison. The knowledge that pain will come again. Be honest to those you love. Show your pain. To suffer is as human as to breathe. Buraya bir kendim bakıp gelmek istiyorum. Devam. Harry diyor ki, you said that to me once before. Sanki 5. kitapta söylediydi. Dumbledore diyor ki, it is all I have to offer you tonight. He begins to walk away. Harry diyor ki, don't go. Dumbledore diyor ki, those that we love never truly leave us, Harry. There are things that death cannot touch. Pain and memory and love. Harry diyor ki, I love you too, Dumbledore. Dumbledore diyor ki, I know. He is gone, and Harry is alone. Draco enters. Draco, did you know that in this other reality, the reality Scorpio saw into, I was head of magical law enforcement? Maybe this room will be mine soon enough. Öyle gelmesi falan çok hoş. Yani. Bu Draco da güzel. Draco'nun üslubu, hareketleri, söyledikleri, ettikleri falan. Tamam bunlar güzel zaten. Bakın ben güzel olunca söylüyorum ama ben sevmek istiyorum zaten. İnsanlar güzel güzel yazsın. Hani şu kitabın güzel olması demek hani ilk 7 kitaptaki teorileri oturtulabilecek bir derecede hakiki bir şekilde güzel olması demek. J.K. Rowling ölse bile Harry Potter'lar çıkmaya devam edecek anlamına geliyor. Ne kadar büyük bir anlam olduğunu farkındayım ama böyle büyük bir anlama gelebilmesi için bir olayın yeterince başarılı olması lazım ve bu kitap yeterince başarılı değil. Onun için de üzgünüm ve kızgınım ve sinirliyim hani falan. Ama şu detaylar güzel. Draco'nun maybe this room will be mine soon enough falan böyle gelmesi. Hani Draco'nun yaş aldıktan sonra ve Harry ile ortada olan esrarengiz olaylar neticesinde tekrar diyaloğunun düzelmesi neticesinde bu tarz bir espriyle Harry'ye gelmesi falan gayet expected. Yani evet. Sanırım bunu söylüyorum. Are you okay? Harry is consumed in his grief. Harry diyor ki, come in. I give you that tour. Jacob walks hesitantly inside the room. He looks around distastefully. Jacob diyor ki, the thing is though, never really fancied being a ministry man, even as a child. My dad, it's all he ever wanted. Me, no. Harry diyor ki, what did you want to do? Jacob diyor ki, Quidditch, but I wasn't good enough. Mean I wanted to be happy. Harry knows. Jacob looks at him a second more. Sorry, I'm not very good at small talk. Do you mind if we skip on to the serious business? Eric, of course, what serious business? Beat. Diego, do you think Theodore not had the only time turner? Eric, what? Diego, the time turner that Ministry sees was a prototype made of inexpensive metal. It does the job, sure, but only being able to go back in time for 5 minutes. That's a serious flaw. It isn't something you'd sell to true collectors of dark magic. Harry realizes what Draco is saying. Harry, he was working for you. Draco, no, my father. He liked owning things that no one else had. The Ministry's time turners, thanks to Crocker, were always a little vanilla for him. He wanted the ability to go back further than an hour. He wanted the ability to travel back years. He'd never have used it. Secretly, I think he preferred a world without Voldemort. But yes, the time turner was built for him. Buraya kendim bir kere daha bakıp geliyorum. Devam. Harry diyor, and did you keep it? Draco reveals the time turner. Draco diyor, no 5-minute problem, and it gleams like gold. Just the way the Malfoys like it. You're smiling. Harry diyor, Hermione Granger. It was the reason she kept the first, the fear that there might be a second. Hanging on to this, you could have been sent to Azkaban. Azkaban. Nasıl okunuyor hala çözemedim şu kelimeyi. Draco diyor, consider the alternative. Consider if people had known that I had the ability to travel in time. Consider the reward that would have been given increased credence. Harry looks at Draco, understanding him perfectly. Harry diyor ki, Scorpius. Draco diyor ki, we were capable of having children, but Astoria was frail. A blood malediction, a serious one. Manchester was cursed. It showed up in her. You know how these things can resurface after generations. I'm sorry, Draco. Draco, I didn't want to risk her health. I said it didn't matter whether the Malfoy line died with me, whatever my father said. But Astoria, she didn't want a baby for the Malfoy name, for pure blood or glory, but for us, our child, Scorpius, was born. It was the best day of both our lives, although it weakened Astoria considerably. We hid ourselves away, the three of us. I wanted to conserve her strength, and so the remorse started. Buraya kadar olan kısma bir kendim bakıp geliyorum. Devam. Harry diyor ki, I can imagine what that was like. Draco diyor ki, Astoria always knew that she was not destined for old age. She wanted me to have somebody when she left because it is exceptionally lonely being Draco Malfoy. I will always be suspected. There is no escaping the past. I never realized, though, that by hiding him away from this gossiping, judgmental world, I ensured that my son would emerge shrouded in worse suspicion than I ever endured. Here do you love the lines? We have both tried to give our sons not what they needed, but what we needed. We've been so busy trying to rewrite our own pasts, we've blighted their present. Draco, which is why you need this. I have been holding on to it, barely resisting using it, even though I would sell my soul for another minute with Astoria. Oh, Draco, we can't use it. Draco looks up at Harry, and for the first time, at the bottom of this dreadful pit, they look at each other as friends. Draco, we have to find them. If it takes centuries, we must find our sons. Şuraya bir bakıp gelmek istiyor. Devam. Harry diyor ki, we have no idea where they are or when they are. Searching in time when you've no idea where in time to search. That's a fool's errand. No, love won't do it, and nor will a time turner, I'm afraid. It's up to our sons now. They're the only ones who can save us. Act 4, Scene 5. Godric's Hollow, outside James and Lily Potter's house, 1981. We tell my granddad and grandma, Scorpius, that they'll never get to see their son grow up. Obviously, she's strong enough. I know she is. You saw her. Scorpius, she looked wonderful, Albus. And you, if I were you, I'd be desperate to talk to her. But she needs to be able to beg Voldemort for Harry's life. She needs to think he might die. And you're the worst spoiler in the world that didn't turn out to be true. And you're the worst spoiler in the world that didn't turn out to be true. Evet. Now we get Dumbledore. Dumbledore's alive. We get Dumbledore involved. We do what you did with Snape. Scorpius, can you risk him knowing your dad survives, that he has kids? Absolutely, he's Dumbledore. He can cope with anything. Aslında aynen öyle. Rick gibi bir şey. Rick Sanchez gibi. Scorpius, Albus. There have been about 100 books written on what Dumbledore knew, how he knew it, or why he did what he did. But what's undoubtedly true, what he did, he needs to do. And I'm not going to risk messing with it. I was able to ask for help because I was in an alternate reality. We aren't. We're in the past. We can't fix time only to create more problems. If our adventures have taught us anything, they've taught us that the dangers of talking to anyone infecting time are too great. Okay, doğru diyor. Ama yine de Dumbledore'a gidebilirdiniz bence. Sadece Dumbledore'dan başka hiçbir insana görünmeden Dumbledore'a gidebileceğinizin yolunu bulmanız gerekirdi o kadar yani. Bu iş olurdu bence. So we need to talk to the future. We need to send that a message. Scorpius, but we don't have an owl that can fly through time. And he doesn't have a time turner. Obviously, we get a message to Dad. He'll find a way to get back here, even if he has to build a time turner himself. Scorpius, we send a memory, like a pencil. Stand over him and send a message. Stand over him. We send a memory, diyor Scorpius, like a pencil. Stand over him and send a message. Hope he reaches for the memory at exactly the right moment. I mean, it's unlikely, but stand over the baby and just repeatedly shout, help, help, help. I mean, it might traumatize the baby slightly. Hala böyle esprimsi bir şekilde konuşuyorlar falan. Good. Scorpius'u ve Albus'u seviyorum bayağı. Albus diyor ki only slightly. Scorpius diyor ki a bit of trauma now is nothing compared to what's happening. And maybe when he then thinks later, he might remember the faces of us as we shooted falan. Albus diyor ki help. Scorpius looks at Albus. Scorpius diyor right, it's a terrible idea. Albus diyor, it's one of your worst ideas ever. Scorpius diyor, got it, we delivered it ourselves. We wait 40 years, we delivered it. I was giving another chance. Once Derby has set time the way she wants, she'll send armies to try and find us, kill us. Not a chance. Once Derby has set time the way she wants, she'll send armies to try and find us, kill us. Peki şu an niye yapmıyor falan? Şu an direkt saldı çünkü onları, öyle mi oldu? Yani Derby en başta bu ikisini niye öldürmedi, ben onu da anlamadım. Ama herhalde şey oldu. Bu ikisini öldürmedi. Bu ikisini şimdi öldürseydi, bunlar zamanda yolculuk yaptıktan sonra hala kayıp gibi görünebileceklerdi falan, gayet falan. Neyse, bu bence yine bu kitabın kusurlarından biri şu an mesela. Ne diye Albus Scorpius'u öldürmedi ki bunlar 1981'e geldikten sonra. Yani. İkisini öldürürdü. İkisini de vücuduna biçim değiştirme yapardı, cesetlerine. Kimse de anlamazdı falan. Zamanında zaten gereği bir şey. Albus'la Scorpius hala şey derdik. Ne derdik? Üf, neyse işte unuttum ne diyeceğimi de. Yani ne diye öldürmedi bunları falan. That's problematik yani, tertemiz bir şekilde şu an. Devam. Scorpius diyor ki, so we hide in a hole. Albus diyor ki, as pleasurable as it will be to hide in a hole with you for the next 40 years, they'll find us. And we'll die and time will be stuck in the wrong position. No. We need something we can control. Something we know he'll get at exactly the right time. We need a Scorpio'ya gideriz. Nothing. Still, if I had to choose a companion to be at the return of eternal darkness with, I choose you. Absolutely no offense, but I choose someone massive and really good at magic. Lily exists the house with baby Harry in a pram. She carefully puts a blanket on him. His blanket, she's wrapping him in his blanket. Scorpio, well, it is a moderately cold day. Albus, he always said, it's the only thing he had from her. Look at the love with which she's put it on him. I think he'd like to know about that. I wish I could tell him. Scorpius again, I wish I could tell my dad, but I'm not sure what. I think I'd like to tell him that I am occasionally capable of more bravery than he might think I am. Albus has a thought. Albus, Scorpius, my dad still has that blanket. Scorpius, that won't work. If you write a message on it now, even really small, he'll read it too soon. Time will be spoiled. What do you know about law potions? What's the ingredient they all contain? Scorpius, amongst other things, pearl dust. Pearl dust is a relatively rare ingredient, isn't it? Scorpius, mainly because it's pretty expensive. What's this about, Aldous? Dad and I had a fight on the day before I went to school. Scorpius, this I am aware of. I believe it kind of got us into this mess. I threw the blanket across the room. It collided with the law potion that Uncle Ron gave me as a joke. Scorpius, he's a funny guy. The potion spilled and the blanket was covered in it. And I happen to know for a fact Mom hasn't let that touch that room since I left it. Scorpius, so it's coming up to Hallows even their time as well as ours. And he told me he always finds that blanket. He needs to be with it on Hallows Eve. It was the last thing his mom gave him. So he will look for it, and when he finds it, Scorpius, no, still not getting you. I was thinking, what reacts with pearl dust? Scorpius, well, it is said that if tincture of demic wise and pearl dust meet, they burn. Albus and his tincture of he's unsure how to say the word. They make wise visible to the naked eye. Scorpius, no. Absolutely. So if we were to get that blank, then write on it in tincture of demic wise, then Scorpius, Eureka, nothing would react to it until it came into contact with the law potion in your room, in the present, by Dumbledore. I love it. Now, we just need to work out where to find some demic wises. Scorpius, humor has it, but the backshot never saw the point in witches and wizards locking their doors. The door swings open. Humor was right. Time to steal some bones and get potion. Jesus diyoruz. There is hope diyoruz. There is hope. Act 4, Scene 6. Harry and Ginny's Potter's house, Albus's room. Harry is sitting on Albus's bed. Ginny enters. She looks at him. Ginny is surprised to find you here. Harry, don't worry, I haven't touched anything. Your shrine is preserved. He winces, sorry, bad choice of words. Ginny says nothing. Harry looks up at her. I've had some pretty terrible Hallows Eves, but this is undoubtedly at least the second worst. Ginny, I was wrong to blame you. I always accused you of jumping to things, and it was me who. Albus went missing, and I assumed it was your fault. I'm sorry I did that. You don't think this is my fault? Ginny, Harry, he was kidnapped by a powerful dark witch. How can that be your fault? I chased them away. I chased him to her. Ginny, can we not treat this as if the battle is already lost? Ginny nods. He starts to cry. I'm sorry, Ginny. Baya ağlıyor. Şimdi are you not listening to me? I'm sorry too. I should have survived. It was my destiny to die. Even Dumbledore thought so. And yet I lived. I beat Voldemort. All these people, my parents, Fred have fallen 50. And it's me that gets to live. Always dead, all this damage, and it's my fault. Şimdi they were killed by Voldemort. But if I'd stopped him sooner, all that blood on my hands, and now our son has been taken too. Çünkü he is not dead. Do you hear me, Harry? He is not dead. She takes Harry in her arms. There is a big pause filled with pure unhappiness. It is the boy who lived. How many people have to die for the boy who lived? He sways a moment, unsure. Then he notices the blanket. He walks towards it. This blanket is all I have, of that Hallows Eve. This is all I have to remember, damn. And whilst he picks up the blanket, he discovers it has holes in it. He looks at it dismayed. This has got holes in it. Ron's idiotic law portion has burned through it, right through it. Look at this, it's ruined. He opens up the blanket. He sees writing burned through it. He is surprised. What? Ginny diyor ki, Ginny diyor zannettim. Ginny diyor ki, Harry, it has something written. Another part of the stage, Albus and Scorpius appear. Albus diyor ki, death. Scorpius diyor ki, we're starting with death falan, çok iyi değil mi oğlum? Albus diyor ki, so he'll know it's from me. Scorpius diyor ki, Harry is his name. We should start with Harry. Albus firm diyor ki, we're starting with death. Harry diyor ki, death. Does it say that? It's not that distinct. Ya Harry diyormuş. That, does it say that? It's not that distinct. We're starting with that. Burada şey olayı da güzel. Yani şu an Albus'la Scorpius bilmem kaç sene öncesinde ama şeyler. Hani saat bağlamında 19.00 paralel olarak gidiyor falan. Hani akşam 8 olduğu zaman mesela Albus'la Scorpius biliyor ki akşam 8'de Harry büyük ihtimal onun odasında duruyor şu an falan. Hani şu an yazdıkları an direkt böyle şey oluyor. Harry görebiliyor falan. Eş zamanlı işliyor şu an olay. Güzel. House firm, we're starting with that yapıyor. Harry diyor ki that, does it say that? It's not that distinct. Scorpius diyor ki that, help. Jin diyor ki hello, does it say hello? And then good. Harry diyor ki that, hello, good, hello. No, this is a strange joke. House diyor ki that, help, Godric's follow. Jin diyor ki give me that. My side is better than yours, yes. That hello, good. That's not hello. Again, that's hollow or hollow, and then some numbers. These are clearer. 311081. Is this one of those muggle telephone numbers, or a grid reference, or a... Terry looks up, several thoughts smashing through his brain at once. No, it's the date. 31st October 1981, the date my parents were killed. He looks at Harry, and then back at the blanket. Jin diyor ki that doesn't say hello, says help. Diyor ki dad, help, Godric's hollow, 311081. It's a message. Clever boy left me a message. Clever boy falan. Tüylerim diken diken oldu Kur'an çarpsın. Clever boy left me a message. He kisses Ginny hard. Jin diyor ki Albus wrote this. And he has told me where they are and when they are. And now we know where she is. We know where we can find her. He kisses her hard again. We haven't got them back again yet. Here you guys send them all to Harmony. You send one to Draco. Tell them to meet us at Godric's with the time turner. And it is us, okay? Don't even think about going back without me, Harry. Harry, of course you're coming. We have a chance, Ginny. And why Dumbledore? That's all that we need. A chance. İyi bakalım diyoruz. Heyecanlı bayağı. Act 4, Scene 7. Godric's Hollow. Ron, Hermione, Draco, Harry and Ginny walk through a present-day Godric's Hollow. busy market town, it's expanded over the years. Hemen diyor ki Godric, hello, it must be 20 years. Şimdi diyor ki is it just me or are there more muggles about? Hemen diyor ki it's become quite popular as a weekend break. Jacob diyor ki I can see why. Look at the thatched roofs. And is that a farmer's market? Look at the thatched roofs. And is that a farmer's market falan boş yapıyorlar. Hermione approaches Harry, who is looking around himself, overwhelmed by all that he's seeing. Hermione, do you remember when we were last here? This feels just like old times. Ron diyor ki old times with a few unwelcome ponytails added to the mix. Ron şöyle kenarda durabilir misin lütfen? Çok aşırı rahatsız oluyorum da sen her konuştuğunda falan diyesim geldi şu an. Jacob knows a bar when he hears one. Jacob diyor ki tamam. Jacob laf atmış. All times with a few unwelcome ponytails added to the mix. Ama hala diyorum çünkü Ron böyle unwelcome ponytails falan takılan bir tip değil. Hani böyle bastard falan. Ron böyle bir insan. Oğlum var ya Ron'u bitirdiniz resmen ya. Şu Ron'u bitirdiler yani. Ron'u resmen yazamıyorlar, çizemiyorlar falan. Not cool yani. Jacob diyor, can I just say, Ron diyor, Malfoy, you may be all chummy with Harry, and you may have produced a relatively nice child, but you said some very unfair things to and about my wife. Hermione diyor, and your wife doesn't need you fighting her battles for her. Hermione looks witheringly at Ron. Ron takes the hit. Ron diyor, fine, but if you say one thing about her or me, Jacob diyor, you'll do what, Weasley? Hermione diyor, he'll hug you. Because we're all on the same team, aren't we, Ron? Ron hesitating in the face of her unwavering gaze. Fine. I think you got really nice hair, Jacob. Hermione diyor, thank you, husband. Now this seems a good spot. Let's do this. Jacob takes out a time turner. It begins spinning wildly as the others take their places around it. And there is a giant whoosh of light, a smash of noise, and time stops. And then it turns over, thinks a bit, and begins spooling backwards, slow at first. Burayı şununla bir yapalım. And time stops. And then it turns over, thinks a bit, and begins pulling backwards, slow at first. And then it speeds up. They look around themselves. From the so, has it worked? Hemen geliyorum. Act 4, Scene 8. Godric's Hollow, a shed, 1981. Albus looks up, amazed to see Ginny and then Harry, and then he takes in the rest of the happy band, Ron, Draco, and Hermione. Albus diyor ki, Mom, diyor ki, Albus Severus Potter, are we pleased to see you? Albus runs and throws himself into Ginny's arms. Ginny receives him, delighted. Albus diyor ki, you got our note? Ginny diyor ki, we got your note. Scorpius throws up to his death. Jacob diyor, we can hug too if you like. Scorpius looks at his death, unsure for a moment, and then they sort of half hug in a very awkward way. Voldemort da böyle Malfoy'a sarılıyordu ya böyle. Şöyle yapıyordu falan. O geldi aklıma. Draco smiles. Ron diyor ki, now where is this Delphi? Scorpius diyor ki, you know about Delphi? Albus diyor ki, she is here. She's trying to kill you, we think. Before Voldemort curses himself. Camı kapatıp geliyorum hemen. Devam. Albus diyor ki, she is here. She's trying to kill you, we think. Before Voldemort curses himself, she's going to kill you. And so break the prophecy and Hermione diyor ki, yes, we thought that might be it too. Do you know where specifically she is now? Scorpius diyor ki, she has disappeared. How did you, without the time turner, Harry interrupting diyor ki, that's a long and complicated story, Scorpius, and we don't have time for it. Jacob smiles at Harry gratefully. Hermione diyor ki, Harry is right. Time is of the essence. We need to get people into position now. Godric's Hollow is not a large place, but she could be coming from any direction. So we need somewhere that gives us good views of the town, that allows for multiple and clear observation points, and that will, most importantly, keep us hidden. Because you cannot risk being seen. They offer on thinking. I'd say Sayfayı's church ticks all those boxes, wouldn't you? Act 4, Scene 9. Godric's Hollow, Sayfayı's church, St. Jubilee, 1981. Albus is sleeping in a pew. Ginny watches him carefully. Harry is looking out the opposite window. Harry looking, no, nothing. Why isn't she here? Ginny, we're together. Your mom and dad are alive. We can turn time, Harry. We can speed it up. She'll come when she's ready, and we'll be ready for her. Buraya bir kendim bakıp geliyorum. Devam. She looks at Albus's sleeping form. She'll come when she's ready, and we'll be ready for her, dedi. Sonra she looks at Albus's sleeping form. Or some of us will be. Yani Albus olamıyor çünkü Albus aşık oldu falan mı diyor. Not sure. Devam. Diyor ki poor kid thought he had to save the world. Diyor ki poor kid has saved the world. That blanket was masterful. I mean, he also almost destroyed the world, but probably best not to focus on that bit. Diyor ki you think he is okay? Jin diyor ki he is getting there. It just might take him a bit of time. And you a bit of time too. Harry smiles. She looks back at Albus. Harry does too. Hemen geliyorum. Devam. You know, after I'd opened the Chamber of Secrets, after Voldemort had bewitched me with that terrible diary, and I'd almost destroyed everything. Harry diyor ki, I remember. Diyor ki, after I came out of hospital, everyone ignored me, shut me out, other than that is the boy who had everything, who came across the Gryffindor common room and challenged me to a game of exploding snap. People think they know all there is to know about you, but the best bits of you have always been heroic in really quiet ways. My point is, after this is over, just remember, if you could, that sometimes people, but particularly children, just want someone to play exploding snap with. Harry diyor, you think that's what we're missing? Exploding snap. Cidden anlamadım be Harry falan. Harry'nin burada bunu anlaması lazımdı. Normal 7 kitap kontekstinde burada anlamıyormuş demek ki. Jin diyor ki no, but the love I felt from you that day, I'm not sure Albus feels that. Harry diyor ki I'd do anything for it. Jin diyor ki Harry, you'd do anything for anybody. You are pretty happy to sacrifice yourself for the world. He needs to feel specific love. It'll make him stronger, and you stronger too. You know, it wasn't until we thought Albus had gone that I truly understood what my mother was able to do for me. A counter charm so powerful that it was able to repel the spell of death. And the only spell Voldemort couldn't understand. Love falan. Aşırı böyle trip konuşuyorlar. Şu an rahatsız oluyorum. Devam. I do love him specifically, Ginny. Ginny, I know, but he needs to feel it. I'm lucky to have you are an eye falan. Konuyu değiştiriyor Ginny extremely. And I'd be delighted to discuss just how lucky at another time. But for now, let's focus on stopping Delphi. Harry diyor ki we are running out of time. Etol occurs to Ginny. Ginny diyor ki unless Harry, has anyone thought why has she picked now? Today, because this is the day that everything changed. Ginny diyor ki right now you're over a year old, am I right? Harry diyor ki a year and 3 months. Ginny diyor ki that's a year and 3 months she could have killed you in. Even now she's been in Godric's Hollow for 24 hours. What's she waiting for? I'm still not entirely following. What if she's not waiting for you? She's waiting for him, to stop him. What? Delphi is picked tonight because He is here because her father is coming. She wants to meet him, be with him, the father she loves. Voldemort's problems started when he attacked you. If he hadn't done that, he'd have only got more powerful. The darkness would only have got darker. Çünkü the best way to break the prophecy is not to kill Harry Potter, is to stop Voldemort doing anything at all. Alan, evet diyoruz. Act 4, Scene 10. Burada bir durayım ben gayri. Bir durayım. Sonra devam edelim. Okeyim diyecek bir şey var mıdır düşünüp geliyorum. Nope, hadi görüşürüz.